What's up, guys? Happy Thursday. We are back. The whole team's back. Me and Steven in the studio, feeling like a little radio DJ moment here right now. But we're back. We have the NBA tonight. We have college baseball tournament playoffs starting tomorrow. We got some MLB tonight. So we got a lot to cover. Apparently, while I was gone, Steven and Jake did some pretty serious damage here. 5-1 in the NBA, up basically 3 units. Home run props, another profitable day for the team. 2-3, up 5 units. Not 17 units, Jake, but we'll take it, won't we?
Yeah, well, 17 units over the last 2 weeks, not the 12 units last week, but we were 1 home run away from another plus 12 units. And I think one of the players hit a double deep, and we're very close to another 12 unit day, but we'll take plus 5 units on home run props any day of the week.
Yeah, I'll say we're hitting a pretty good track record, and we're looking good for the summer season as we get some more data under us. All right, so speaking of the MLB, Jake, we have one play that we like today. Not a ton of baseball games, correct? But we got one play we like.
Yeah, Thursdays are usually quiet in MLB, but we have plenty of value on Milwaukee versus Chicago in the early game. I think that game starts in about 10 minutes. You could get the line anywhere from -110 to -130. So I would line shop. It was the -120 was the consensus line when I sent it in. But I think this is more of a fade on Jameson Taillon. And we would take his over and 2.5 earned runs allowed. He was really good against Milwaukee earlier in the year, but his splits are not great on the road. I think over the last 2 years, he has a 5+ ERA on the road compared to like a 4.18 at home. So we like fading Taillon on the road, and we like Milwaukee here.
Okay, I like the fade. I see some Nerfy. Is it Nerfi or Nerfy? I feel like every
Nerfy. Tomato. No, whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's usually Nerfy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, I can check that up for you guys.
It looks like Steven got that one. Big Cheesy talking about our boy Bobby Witt Jr. here. 3+ total bases. That's a lot, isn't it?
That's a lot, yeah, but we'll see. I mean, plus money. I'd rather take him to hit a home run at that price at plus 150. I probably no model value because it's a high number, but if you like the matchup, I don't hate it. I mean, probably Witt is a stud.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll certainly get to more MLB questions. Feel free to put them in the chat. Always happy to answer the questions. Let's hit some college baseball. Tournament starts tomorrow. Not all the lines have come out yet, but we're going to look at some early action to get some good value. We are going with a 2-leg money line parlay.
Yeah, ECU and Duke in a parlay. ECU has a home regional. Just ECU at home, I think they're 24-2 this year. So I gave out them at plus 170 to win that regional, even though Wake Forest is favorite to win that regional. I think we would have that pretty much 50-50, and we like ECU if Chase Burns is pitching. So I still like that plus 170 for ECU to win the regional. But we like ECU against the 4 seed. And Duke is probably one of the hottest teams in baseball. I thought they were going to be a host team after winning the conference tournament, but I still like Duke here a lot.
Okay. Looks like B Mills was asking you about ECU as well. ECU, but he has UC Irvine money line parlayed with that. Any thoughts on UC Irvine?
Don't mind UC Irvine. I think they're playing Nichols, who has a stud pitcher, and Myers, but so I don't think we have a ton of model value, but I don't hate that play at all. Nichols is a bit of a scary team, but they're inconsistent. So I don't mind that at all. UC Santa Barbara and Oregon State. I do have an Oregon State play coming up. UC Santa Barbara, our model likes Fresno as the top 4 seed in all of college baseball in the tournament, which is kind of surprising. It's Mountain West isn't that good overall. There's only 6 teams in Mountain West, but I don't love that play because Fresno kind of scares me, especially with Jake Dixon pitching, even though UC Santa Barbara is one of my 8 for Omaha from the preseason.
Yep, I echo everything you said. Was actually going to say the same exact thing. Glad we're
Yeah.
on the same page
I, I,
there.
st- I stole that from Mackenzie. That was in her
Yes.
type-up
He's
analysis.
always stealing my spotlight on college baseball. It's ridiculous. All right, let's look at your other college baseball play here with Oregon State, but we're going to parlay them with Arizona instead.
Yeah, Arizona, they got a pretty tough draw for a host team, but they're still a 1 seed at home against 4 seed GCU. So I think Arizona, they have the shortest odds of any 1 seed at -220 in that game. I don't think GCU is a great team overall. I think their past they've been pretty good, which is kind of clouding the book's judgment, the bettor's judgments. So I think Arizona has the pitching advantage over GCU. I think they have the hitting advantage. I think Arizona's a pretty good team. So I like that. And Oregon State, their host team. So just going with 2 host teams against 4 seeds, close to even money line right here.
All right. All right. Yeah, close to even money. That's all we like to see. All right. Let's talk about these might be a little more of sprinkle plays, nothing too serious, just a little dabble here and there. We're talking about upset city here. Stir the pot with some upsets that we like here. Illinois being the first, +130 versus Indiana State.
Yeah, Illinois won the Big Ten regular season. I think Indiana State's the better team, but Illinois at +130, we'd set them at like +110 in a model. Well, we have this closer to 50-50. I think we have 55-45 in favor of Indiana State. So we do like Indiana State to win, but there's upset value in Illinois, the Big Ten regular season champs here. Indiana State's good, but they're also from a smaller conference, so they don't play good teams every week. So it's definitely a step up in their going to have to play Illinois here. So we'll see. I do think Indiana State's a really good team. So I'm not. These aren't necessarily what I recommend taking. It's just there's upset value.
Just a good plus money, cheap thrill. Okay. Nothing
Yeah.
crazy. Talk about value. St. John's to upset Mississippi State +350. You crazy cat here, Jake.
Yeah, I know. This is Mackenzie's play I stole right here. No, I think we had this at like St. John's +250, so we still really favor Mississippi State, especially with Cal Steven pitching. But it's +350. We just have some good value there. St. John's beat the Gators in Gainesville in their first game of the season. I think the model takes that into account a decent amount because that was an SEC team that they did beat. They won the Big East tournament. They're a decent team. The Big East is always scrappy. I think St. John's has made Omaha once or twice in their history. So they have a decent history in their baseball program. So I don't mind sprinkling something here. Maybe when the run line's post, you want to play the run line instead. But Mississippi State, they're hit or miss. That's the problem.
Okay. Well, we'll take the chance.
B. Mills hasn't gone to the College World Series. I mean, I think they could definitely go. I think just there's model value on St. John's here. So Mississippi State, they're just so hit or miss. It depends on their pitching after the top 2 guys.
Damn. Yeah, I'm willing to take the miss at +350. All right, let's do one more upset city play here with Fresno State +220. I'd still call that pretty solid money line versus UC Santa Barbara.
Yeah, I guess the model likes how Fresno's played against their non-conference opponents over the last couple of years. There's not a ton of data on them, but they did win their conference tournament. They had to beat Air Force, who I think Air Force beat Texas earlier in the season last year. So we kind of weight the Mountain West a little better than some of these other models because we don't have a ton of data on it. But UCSB has a pretty tough draw with 4 seed Fresno State, who actually won the B Mills. I do like UCSB. They are one of my Omaha 8, but it's just a value play. So there's always going to be upsets in the day one.
Yeah.
There's always going to be upsets. So we're just guessing on what's the best value for there to be an upset. But Fresno State, I think in 2006, they're the only 4 seed to ever win the college baseball championship. I think it was 2006. I think they beat Georgia.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. I'm going to have you answer some more questions in the chat. Friend Justin, not sure if you've been here before. If not, welcome. But the show specifically is from the Sportsline simulation, the model that Steven built and we all work for that powers all the projections across CBS. So when we're talking about the model and what Steven has projected, that is what we have coded. And that is what powers most of this company. So this show's all about the data, showing you behind the scenes. We'll show you the model quick as we move on into the NBA. We have projections for just about anything and everything you're asking for. So fire away the questions. Let's bring in Steven here. We're going to talk about Game 5. And we have a lot of picks again, considering one game. I'm impressed. After the 5-1 run, you're feeling very confident.
Yeah,
I'm taking it,
well.
Steven.
I was going to read the question they were handling that 1%. It's basically the model. It's emphasizing a road and home. In this case, in Gallon starts on the road, he's been allowing twice as many. The team has been allowing.
Steven, we can't hear you.
That's my bad. I just realized I had him muted.
All right.
You're back.
I'll just quickly going to answer that question from Justin here is that I think the model's picking up a trend this year where in Gallon starts, Arizona's allowing twice as many runs as versus at home. And that's why we have the Mets scoring more than expected. And that's why we like the over. And that's why we don't have value on no runs, the Nerfy. So anyway, if anyone has been following that thrilling exchange, I'll go back to the NBA and stop talking about subjects I know nothing about.
All right, let's talk about this game. Minnesota laying 4.5. We make this closer to pick 'em here. Any value before we get into the player props? Any value here on the props, or sorry, the total in general?
Yeah, I mean, this series we said at the very beginning that we liked both teams on the road, and so far it's kind of come true. Obviously, with Dallas winning both games in Minnesota and Minnesota splitting in Dallas. So for the series, we actually, even though our pre-series pick was Minnesota to win the series, we now have value at Dallas. Even, I think the odds makers give Minnesota closer to a 20% chance of coming back to win this, where we're only having at around 13.5% chance because we only favor Minnesota by 1.5. So we would take Dallas plus 4.5 in this spot. Although I personally do hope Minnesota wins because again, they're my pick.
Or Timberwolves. Yeah. I really want to see them keep playing.
Yeah, but the 5 picks again, we've been having a nice little run here. I did get I got lucky in that 5-1 the other day. I got to admit there was a Derek White
has to know that.
A huge three, with 30 seconds left, 40 seconds left in the game to get over 15.5 points. And Daniel Gafford had like 1 rebound in the first half. He had nothing, and then he went on a nice little run third quarter, and he ended up getting there was a beautiful missed free throw by Conley, a 90% free throw shooter this year, missed a free throw a second, and Gafford got an easy rebound to get over to 21 points, rebounds, and assists. So it was a very lucky 5-1. I don't want to say it was not an easy one. Anthony Edwards over half a block. This is just a lot of today. 4 of the 5 picks I have are all plus money, and a lot of them plus money on a line that is below a guy's average. So Edwards averages half a block. Plus 220 is pretty sweet payoff. It's not low because he only has 1 block in his last 7 games. But before that, he was on a nice little stretch with 8 blocks in 9 playoff games. So this is one of those max effort games. I could see a block late where, everyone's scrambling. The referees are swallowing the whistle, and he's just, doing anything possible to stop what might be a game winner. So I'm going to go with Ant. If this was plus 120, I probably wouldn't go with it, but plus 220, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're all about the value today.
Yeah.
And Derek Lively plus 120. Okay.
Well, plus, so I think that Lively will either not play because if it turns out he has more of a concussion as opposed to a sore neck. But if he does play, if he was healthy, I saw this line at an 8.5 plus 100 or 7.5 minus 130. So the 6.5 plus 120 is priced as if he was going to play a little bit.
Right.
And I just don't see somebody with a concussion playing at all or playing his normal 25 minutes and rebounding his high rate. For the season, he averages over 6.5, especially over 7 on the road. So again, plus money on a line that's under his recent and season averages.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if he plays, he's going to play. There's no point of just like, if they're going to risk the injury and play. I mean, they'd be sitting him if they didn't want to, and then you're free.
Exactly.
Our dog.
Jade McDaniels. I know when I was out for that week, you guys were getting him a lot. And I think you benefited from this nice run where you had 4 more rebounds in 4 straight games, and the line was like 3.5 or even 2.5. Was it down at 2.5? Jake?
I don't remember.
It was down. It was down to 2.5 at -155.
Yeah. So these guys were able to jump on that, and then it steamed up to 4.5 because he had this nice stretch, and he has only one rebound in each of his last two games. So I kind of like now it's back onto this 3.5 plus 130. So I'm going with the model is 3.6, so it's not a ton of statistical value there, but plus 130, it's too good. And again, he's due. Just 2 rebounds last 2 games. He's due. And I just the clip you showed it. Ant was yelling at the team about getting the rebounds, and it's all about when you're defending a perimeter shooting team like Dallas, you end up getting a lot of long bounces off the missed rebounds. And McDaniel is going to be aware of that, including blocking out Luka, who had 15 rebounds the other night, a lot of which were, on longer misses.
Yeah. I think me and Jake are going to make t-shirts that say, if you're 6'9" and play 35 plus minutes, ... And then the back of the shirt, it's going to say you should go over 3.5 rebounds.
It's crazy. Like
that's it. That's the
2
tweet.
rebounds combined. Yeah. 2 rebounds combined the last 2 games. Well, my strategy is always McDaniel's under 4.5 rebounds if that's the line. If it's 2.5 or 3.5, go with the over.
Yeah. And then we're just getting plus money because of this choke job the last 2 games.
I know. I think I'm 6-1 betting McDaniel's rebounds this postseason.
Me and you seem to always be on the right side of McDaniel's. You always seem to be on the right side of Derek White.
Yeah.
Me and Derek White are like we dance. It's not always automatic for me.
It's chemistry here. Jade McDaniels, he did hit the 1.5 blocks and steals the other game for me, but I don't think his line moved up the price, so I didn't go with that. I didn't double dip.
Yeah.
I don't like to double dip in general because I don't
Yeah.
push myself. I don't double dip back-to-back games. I double dip every 3
We
weeks.
have a well.
Yeah, exactly. Karl Anthony Towns over 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. We have slight value in each of the statistical categories. But overall, again, not a huge model value, 32.7, but I do like the fact that Anthony Edwards' PRA is, I want to say 5 higher than his season average. But this line is priced at Karl Anthony Towns' home average, but not his season average. So, you would think that Cat would be priced at least his season average, and given this game, the dynamics of the game. So I like that we're getting a line that's 2 under. There is buy low value because he's only 10-6 under in playoffs so far. He obviously rediscovered his shot and his confidence. He was smartly not jacking up threes, which was worrying me. At one point, I noted that he had more hyphens in his name than 3-point attempts, and then he went a nice little run. So I did something good in my life to get Cat to go. What was he 4 for 4, 3 for 3 from 3-point line?
3 for 4.
Yeah, and I did like the one game where he stunk really bad in Game 3. That he showed aggression on the boards when he wasn't shooting well. So I did like to see that from him.
Mm-hmm. Jeff asking about Lively rebounds. We did just give that out over 6.5. We're basically on the logic of if he plays, he's going to play hard and play 4 quarters, and if not, then we get our bet waived. So we're in on Lively. And I see a lot of questions about other players, some of the big stars. We'll get to those after we hit one more of these props.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert 2.5 blocks and steals a plus 120. The model's at 2.8. Over 2.8, and his season average is 2.7. Even at a lower average at home is 2.6. So you got plus money on a line that's under his average. Again, he only has 1 total block and steals last 2 games, but he did play well offensively and rebounding wise. And he played 39 minutes the last game. I was worried that he would see his role diminished. But prior to the last 2 games, the over was 15-7. So I'm banking on him and the team figuring out how he's going to play when Luka gets to the paint and it's a lob for an alley-oop.
Mm-hmm.
That Gobert is going to figure out how to at least step out quickly on Luka and maybe tip some pass or tip a pass, or figure out how to drop back onto the center and again block or tip a pass and get credited with a steal.
Mm-hmm. Let's move over to I'd say anyone else we'd be willing to get a t-shirt for is Naz Reid. If they make it through the finals, we're betting him every single game. What do we have him projected for? It looked like Big Cheesy was taking him over 1.5 threes, which I thought was interesting. Yeah. You can get him, I'm sure 15 plus points, which Steven was saying is probably better. I'm sure his line's not 15. I'm sure it's 9, 10.5.
Oh yeah, it's 11.5. We don't have. I
that went up.
It
was 10.5.
Yeah, it was 9.5 game 2 when I had it.
Damn.
So I desperately wanted Nas to get a Nas
Yeah.
Reed pick.
We love Nas
but-
as much as the
yeah.
next guy. Don't get us wrong.
But it ran counter to my Karl Anthony Towns logic. So and ultimately I went with that over. We do lean slightly over, but probably not at the 4.7 rebounds, which just sounds enticing. If you can get plus money, if you get plus 100, the line I have here is minus 103. So usually there might be something that's better than that. We actually have an under 11.5, which I just hate. I owe Nas too much because he saved me when in one of my 7 days of losing in a row. I think Nas was the only one.
One thing about me is I'm not taking a Nas Reed under.
So I would never.
It's a no play or an
Yeah,
over.
exactly. I'm not a demonic.
Yeah. As far as just Edwards and Luka, where do we have them projected? I know Jake was saying you could get and 40 plus points at plus 750 on DK, which obviously is not what we have, but
yeah,
got him at around 29.
Your point, Mackenzie, like going freaking noticing Anthony Edwards like increased assist production. He almost got a triple double. I thought he was going to do that because Jake, we said he never gets triple doubles, and then
he's been so close.
So close.
Speaking of, yeah.
But yes, the model hasn't caught up to his recent trend of his 7+ assists.
Yeah, I'm adding that play right now. I put this on the Sportsline site. Anthony Edwards over 6.5 assists. I think there is better value than minus 140. I thought it was going to, the way it was priced, I thought it would end up at 7.5 this morning. It didn't. So I'll still take 6.5, literally on the logic that he's hit this every game this series. And not just like kind of hit it, like he's had 8, 9 assists in 3 of those games. And he's hit 7 twice. So, or wait, that math doesn't make sense.
I hope he gets 6 to Karl Anthony Towns alone.
Me too.
There you go.
But I mean, he's like Luka. Like if you have the ball in your hands that much, you're playing 40 minutes of basketball at least.
So he's averaging 12 assist opportunities the last 3 games. So
I love that stat, Jake. I'm gonna add that.
Well, I mean, so it all depends if they make 50% or more of their field goals, really. If they make more than 50, you should hit it theoretically because he's going to have the ball in his hands the whole game. So we'll see. So, and then assist to pass percentage, which is pretty cool, is 15.8 for Anthony Edwards. So which is on the higher side, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
Are you speaking English? I'm telling these newfangled numbers you're talking about.
Just go on NBA.com and then it shows you look at the advanced box scores, Steven, or the advanced statistics.
I'm sitting here looking at whether I'm looking like I'm losing hair.
Advanced statistics.
Yeah, it's a tall angle you're looking
not,
at.
It's like I think I should close that shade.
Yes.
Another disappointment for me was seeing Kyle Anderson's rebound assist line steam up from 5.5.
Yes, that was such a great sneaky play.
That was such an easy one.
Anyway. Okay.
Any more questions on this one?
Yeah.
Luka, we have value in Kyrie. His lines only PRA was only 31.5. He had a bad shooting game last game, but he was the one loss I had because I had over 2.5 threes. But it's still his 31.5 is well under what his season averages were. So
see, I was thinking he was gonna go under this because he was like 6 of 18 from the field, and I'm pretty sure, I know I asked you guys about this, but I'm pretty sure last game, like, McDaniels was on him a lot more than prior to the series, and it seems like, I don't know if it was a Kyrie bad game last game or a McDaniels really good game.
He missed some wide open threes. That's what I thought. I thought he should have shot. He was on him that he missed.
Fair enough. We'll see. I'm not making that official play, but I think I do. I'm on Edwards assists, definitely. And I love the Jaden McDaniels. We're back on our guy. Let's take a look at a recap here. We got 5 player props for tonight, 1 solid MLB moneyline play, 2 official college baseball plays, 2 parlays from Jake. Again, tomorrow lines will come out more. We don't have a show, but Jake, I'm sure you're going to post some more plays on Twitter for the people.
Yeah, I'll post some totals when they post, and then some run lines if there's any value. But it's the bracket, so we only know the first games, and then after tomorrow there'll be games Saturday and Sunday that I'll post as well.
Yeah,
we do have hockey.
I was gonna say the model has hockey.
I was hoping hockey. right now.
As far as our color analysis on the model, it is a proven successful model.
Yeah, we do. In the Rangers series, we actually, again, sort of like the Minnesota series, have been having a lot of value on the road teams so far. So we actually have value on Florida, not a ton. The consensus line was -123, and we have Florida at 57% and the Rangers 43% to win.
Well, in terms of shot differential, the Panthers have been like +40 the last 2 games, which is insane.
Yeah.
And so the Panthers, honestly, if Shesterkin wasn't playing like incredible, they should have won the last couple of games by multiple goals. So they're getting good opportunities, but it's going to be crazy in New York tonight.
Yeah, we are looking to try to acquire some hockey expertise. A funny story. A few years ago, I got a headhunter contacted me, and it was something about I knew it was from the owner of the Panthers, and I thought, oh, maybe he's interested in some kind of, because he made his money on in like high-speed training systems, and I was like, oh, maybe there's some kind of interest in live betting,
right?
And all this stuff. And it's like, no, it's like why they're casting a super wide net for the new general manager of Florida. That's a very impressive wide net, and I think you should probably get someone who's been to more than one hockey game in their life, which is my experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah, model's been good, been solid. Second half, we're, but same time, we're not posers. I'm not going to be able to talk the nuances of it.
Yeah, definitely not.
They brought Moneyball to hockey, just using statistics for everything.
No, it was a pretty quick call.
Yeah. That's what.
This is the last call I expected ever to receive. So.
That's funny. Yeah. All right. Plenty of stuff we went over today. Thanks for sticking around for Steven's old time stories from when I was around.
It was like 4 years ago.
All right. No show tomorrow, but as always, reach out to us on Twitter with any questions. We're happy to answer, assuming most of them will be targeted towards Jake for MLB and college. So, Jake, be ready. All right, guys. Good luck with your bets and have a great weekend.